What's going on YouTube? Welcome to my features overview video of the i7-4930K, the CPU that I'm going to be using in my gaming PC build of September 2013. This is a hexa-core 12-thread CPU part of the Intel Ivy Bridge E line of CPUs. It still receives the 4th generation designation, even though Intel 4th generation technically begins with Haswell, and this is the extreme or enthusiast version of Ivy Bridge E, which was Intel's 3rd generation, but regardless, this is Intel's latest CPU launch. It comes with 3 SKUs, the first which is the i7-4820K, which is only a 4-core 8-thread CPU. Next is the i7-4930K, the mid-range enthusiast level CPU. And finally, the highest end of the enthusiast level CPUs, the i7-4960X. I'll discuss relevant specs briefly. The i7-4930K uses the X79 chipset and the LGA2011 socket. It has a base clock of 3.4 GHz and a boost clock of 3.9 GHz. It should be about 10% faster and consume less power than its predecessor, the Sandy Bridge E i7-3930K. Compared to the Haswell i7-4770K, there should be 50% better performance in multi-threaded applications, and core-to-core performance should be about equal. By design, Intel's recent CPU releases haven't pushed breakneck clock speeds or additional power per core, instead opting for efficiency. Multi-threaded computing hasn't taken off as well as Intel had hoped. The next generation enthusiast CPU, Haswell E, should be more exciting. It will launch using the X99 chipset with 8 cores and 16 threads and support for DDR4 memory. For now, here's a chart with basic comparisons between competing i7s. Very few consumers can make use of the 4960X. If you're looking at that CPU, you're probably working for Michael Bay or Pixar. The 4930K should be able to reach 95% of the performance of the 4930K. The 4930K has support for quad-channel memory, native support for 1866 MHz memory, and use full bandwidth of PCIe 3.0. So what advantages do all of these advanced features confer upon gaming? In practical terms, very little. Before games use 64 gigs of RAM, we will be playing games by plugging our brains into the matrix. Full bandwidth PCIe 3.0 doesn't seem to make a significant difference either. Gaming CPUs get a lot more mileage than GPUs. Sandy Bridge is still performing well in modern games. The 4930K is overkill for strictly gaming. Performance-wise, you are looking at a single-digit FPS advantage over Haswell i7. There are very few games that can make use of this much CPU power. Crysis 3 is a beast, and in looking at some Tom's Hardware benchmarks, CryEngine 3 will use as much power as you give it. Most PC games won't be CPU bottlenecked. I hate to say this, but PC games are bottlenecked by consoles. As long as developers are still optimizing their games to run on the Xbox 360 and PS3, most CPUs won't reach their full potential. Games are lightly threaded workloads, so they don't use as many cores. When games are developed exclusively for the Xbox One, PS4, and PC is when we will see better multi-core usage. The lowest common denominator in gaming performance will always be the hardware limitation of consoles. Battlefield 4 still needs to run on the Xbox 360 and the PS3. Battlefield 3 didn't use hyper-threading, so here's to hoping that Battlefield 4 will use more cores to give better performance on PC. The reason I chose the i7-4930K for my build is because I do a lot of video editing and rendering. Sony Vegas, my editing software, can utilize all CPU threads to 100%. Those interested in streaming and don't want to build a second PC could also benefit from an Intel hexa-core because streaming is CPU intensive. I will be doing a gaming PC build guide with the CPU. I've pretty much finalized all of the parts for the build. Everything has fallen according to plan so far. As I had hoped, ASUS did come out with a new X79 board, the X79 Deluxe. It's not a Republic of Gamers board, but Republic of Gamers is better referred to as Republic of Benchmarkers or Republic of Overclockers because even enthusiast builds don't need all the ROG features. Notably, I will do custom water cooling. I'm looking at a kit from XSPC which has the reservoir, pump, radiator fittings, and tubings all together, so I don't have to buy each separately. From a performance standpoint, I should be able to exceed my i7-3770K in clock speed, so I should minimally gain some performance there. When I finalize all the parts, I'll make a video so everyone can make some last minute suggestions. Thank you very much for watching. I hope the gameplay wasn't boring. My name's David, and I'll see you next video.